Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a Social Security disability attorney, and today I'd like to answer the question, what are Social Security's listings of impairment? And if you visit my website, meetalisting.com, or my website at SSD Answers, you will see that I discuss the listings as one of the three theories you can use to win your disability case. The other one being the grid rules, the third one being proving that your functional capacity has been so reduced you cannot work a full-time job. But the simplest and easiest way to win is to meet a listing. So what exactly are the listings? Well, the listings are basically something put out by Social Security as part of what is called a blue book. And back in the day, used to actually be a blue book, a softcover book that was in blue. Everybody called it the blue book, and they still call it that. Now it's online, and you can access that through the blue book through my website, meetalisting.com, meetalisting.com, just the way it sounds. And you'll see that the blue book has divided the human body up into 14 body systems, and that ranges from musculoskeletal to cardiac, there's one for cancer, there's one for immune system disorders, mental health disorders, various organs, and different body systems. And then there are a total of 14 of these systems. And within each listing, so listing 1, for example, is musculoskeletal, within each listing, there may be one or more specific diagnoses for a particular medical problem. Some of the listings have 15 or 16, some of them have 1 or 2. It just depends on the particular listing. So what you do when you go to the listings is you look up the body system that's involved. So for example, if you have a musculoskeletal problem, a back injury, you go to listing number 1. And you look there to see, do I meet the listing? And you'll see that the listings basically give you a very comprehensive description as to what is required to meet that listing in terms of proof. So it may be you've got to show that you visited the doctor a certain number of times, or the doctor's taken test results a certain number of times, or that you've experienced a certain symptom a certain number of times. So for example, I was looking at listing 4.02, which is the cardiac listing for, this one's about congestive heart failure, and it requires 3 or more episodes of acute congestive heart failure within a 12 consecutive month period. So they define in the listing what is an episode. So what happens if, based on their definition, you've had 2 episodes within 12 months or 3 episodes within 13 months? You may not meet the listing. So Social Security adjudicators may look at that and say, well, you know, the medical records do not show that this person has met the listing. We're going to deny it on that basis. And maybe they approve you on another basis, but maybe they simply deny it. We've got to go to a hearing in a year and a half and get in front of a judge who in that situation would probably approve your case. So even if you don't meet the listing specifically now, or your medical record is not very clear that you do meet the listing, and by the way, that's a reason why a lot of listing level cases are not approved early on. It's just a gap in the medical records. The adjudicators or claims adjusters who review these cases at the initial and recon level, they're not going to assume anything. And if the listing says we need 3 episodes and they see 2, they're going to most likely deny. Not always, but most likely they're going to deny. So you may not meet a listing for a technical reason, but you still may be a listing level candidate that when you get to a hearing, you'll get approved on the listing. So again, I encourage everybody who's applying for disability to look at the listing and try to figure out which body part or parts, which listing may be applicable. And when you file your application, reference that particular listing. Give the adjudicator a little bit of help and say, you know, I think I meet listing 4.02, or I meet listing 4.04, I meet listing 1.07, whatever the listing may be, and maybe they'll look a little bit more closely because you're talking their language, and they'll approve you based on that. So that's what the listings are. They're really, if you want to put it this way, it's a shortcut. It's basically a way where Social Security has said, you know, based on this particular diagnosis, we're assuming that if you have had a heart transplant, for example, that we're going to assume that your capacity for work is going to be eroded to the point where you could not work for at least a year. Or because you've got this particular medical condition, we're going to assume the work limitations arising from that for at least a year or longer. So that's what the listings are. It doesn't change the definition. We're still in the same definition of disability, being that you don't have the capacity to perform full-time work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, but the listings are a shortcut for Social Security to assume that if you've got this medical diagnosis, it is inherently so serious that we're going to assume the work limitations. That's all the listings are. And again, if you don't meet the listings, doesn't mean you've lost, doesn't mean you're not going to win. You still want to go ahead and appeal. We may need to look at a different theory of disability at your hearing, i.e. the grid theory or functional capacity theory, or we may want to argue the listings or that you are equivalent to a listing. Again, a judge in a disability case has the power to do that, whereas the adjudicator probably not going to make those assumptions or going to bend the definitions a little bit like the judge might do so. So that is what is meant by Social Security's listings of impairments. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, like it on Facebook. That really helps my channel. Subscribe to my channel. That helps it even more. Leave me feedback. I love to read the feedback from folks who've looked at the videos and who found some benefit from them or have a correction. Every once in a while I'll get somebody who writes me and says, you know, you made a mistake here. You referenced the wrong listing or you referenced the wrong website. And I'll make that change. But I like to hear feedback, positive or negative. So please leave me some feedback. Visit my website, ssdanswers.com, and you'll see you've got to sign up there for a survival kit, How to Win Disability Survival Kit. I think you'll find that very useful. That's delivered by email. A lot of good information. I try to provide a lot of good information out there at no cost to you. The metalisting.com is one. Gridrules.net is about the grids. Again, SSD Answers is out there for you as well. So I hope you found all these helpful. If you have any questions, reach out to me. If you have a case you'd like me to evaluate, please let me know that as well. Happy to do that for you too. So my name is Jonathan Ginsberg, wishing you nothing but the best. Thanks a lot. Hi, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to know more about how to win your Social Security disability case, I'd like to invite you to download my Secrets to Getting Approved Early Survival Kit that I created just for people like you. Currently, I'm making the survival kit available at no cost, and I encourage you to grab your copy now. Some of the topics I cover include, how do I know if I have a case? Is it the right time for me to file my claim? 9 common mistakes that can doom your case. The 3 must-have arguments you use to win your case. And a topic that every disability claimant wants to know, how to avoid trick questions from the judge. If you or a loved one need to win Social Security disability benefits, you'll find the Survival Kit essential reading. Download your Survival Kit right now and at no cost. Just visit ssdanswers.com/survival and sign up. It's that easy. Please act now. And as always, I wish you the best.